Hello, hello. Welcome to this week's edition of The Bold Leap, where we chat with women who have made the leap into online entrepreneurship. And today I'm super, super excited to chat with my friend, Laurel Boylan. Laurel, welcome.
Hi, Lisa. Thank you so much. I'm excited to be here.
It's
a great leap. I love encouraging other people in that direction.
Oh, yes. I wish, I started this show because when I was considering leaving corporate, I couldn't find anybody who had done it. It's like not even unsuccessfully. I mean, I wasn't tapped into that world. And so I love sharing stories because the more that I chatted with amazing entrepreneurs like yourself, the more I felt like everybody needs to hear these stories so they can see a little bit of themselves in our stories and get inspiration from it. So let's start with your story a little bit. Why don't you tell our audience a little bit about you and the work you do in the world?
Oh my. Well, I currently live in Central California. We are on our exit plan next month. We're leaving the state, and part of that is because of my pivots and transitions I've made online, that now I'm able to do that. So it could not be a more grateful time for me right now to be talking about what this pivot has done for us. But I am a mom of 5 children that all entered our family through adoption. But we're recently empty nesters. As of 2 months ago, we have children ages 21 to 25, and the one that just left is a disabled adult, and we really thought he'd be with us forever. And we're making an attempt at him on his own in a supportive environment. So it's just nothing but excitement going on right now in all areas of our life. And yet you can't stop making money, right? You still have to pay the bills.
Yeah.
And so turning to the online options has just freed us up to really pursue our dreams. I started off in network marketing 11, 12 years ago. I went through a LinkedIn program to learn how to grow my business online and to learn how to use LinkedIn as a lead generation source, because I love talking business and I love talking with other business professionals. I wasn't one to want to do home parties or, reach out to people on Facebook. That just, it didn't sit well with me. So that was my introduction to LinkedIn. However, I've pivoted since then. I started working inside the LinkedIn program that I had learned from. I became a coach within the LinkedIn, the academy, and I became a concierge and did a lot of one-on-one audits. And I loved the work. I really learned LinkedIn to the point where I don't know why everybody isn't growing their business here. I mean, it is to meet people like you, Lisa. I mean, I'm traveling across the US next week. I'm going to be staying at a lady's house who became my friend on LinkedIn. I mean, it's just, and then I'm having lunch with somebody else that I met here on LinkedIn. So I'm just like, it's such an amazing, amazing place. And then a year and a half ago, I decided to leave network marketing and pursue a little bit different business model for the purpose of growing my income quickly. Network marketing is really successful for a lot of people, but for me, after 10 years, I was earning under $500 a month and I couldn't retire on that. And all of my dreams for it really seemed to be going in the other direction. So I made a pivot, and with everything that I knew and all my experience, it's just been an upward journey from this point forward. So, yeah.
Wow. I love it. Oh my gosh. Okay. First of all, I'm so excited for you and for your son. Last time we chatted, he was about to move out. And so that's so great. I'm really, really happy for all of you. That's such an exciting time.
Well, the scary part is he's planning on staying in California when we move. So that's where I'm frantically trying to get all of the services set up for him. He really doesn't want to come with us. And we're okay. We're only going 4.5 hours away, but still, it's not right next door like it is now. So
Right. Oh my gosh. So much to talk about. Okay. So your recent pivot, tell us a little bit about that. Like what was the catalyst for that? I love talking about pivots.
Mhm. My community on LinkedIn had empowered me, and my business partner in this new venture, I met on LinkedIn, and then I met her at some live events, and we just really connected. And I honestly, I'm always about serving people. I'm always about health and wellness. That's been me at the core my whole entire life. But what has not been me at the core is making a decent amount of money at it. I'm the one who did a nonprofit for 10 years, gave away my soul, but didn't make any money doing it. That's been me. And so the reason for the pivot was knowing we were heading into retirement, knowing I needed more substantial income.
So what is your business model now then?
I grow a Melaleuca business. On a very successful team, and it is the largest manufacturer of wellness products in the United States. So everything is US made. And the business model is very similar to, let's just say, a realtor, how a realtor works, or how somebody in the mortgage loan industry works. When you do the work, you get the majority of the money, but your company that you're with gets just a little bit of it. And it's kind of like that here with my team. I do the work, I get the majority of the money, and then the people who recruited me get just a little bit of it. And so it's definitely different than network marketing, and yet it has all the similar values that really attracted me to it. You get to work with a team, you get to help other people grow things. It's a help, it's a win-win type of situation. But my current job, I had gotten kind of burnt out on coaching, to be honest with you. As a coach, anyone who's coached for a while, you realize you end up wanting this for your clients sometimes worse than they want it. And that can be frustrating. And so I kind of backed out. Now I'm only coaching people on my team. I'm not coaching for money, which changes my mindset about the coaching. And it's been great. And I am only showing people, sending them a link and showing them a new store to shop from. So most people don't need coaching to buy their shampoo and deodorant and toothpaste and cleaning supplies. So it's freed me up to focus on really helping people on LinkedIn build their businesses. So that's what I'm doing.
Okay, I get it. So you help people really just optimize their profile, and you teach them how to sell using LinkedIn? Like
I do, yes. Okay. All through authentic relationships, not through a paid version. The algorithms have changed a lot in the last year, 2 years.
Yeah.
And so a lot more people are going to paid versions. I've still not bit the bullet yet, but they are making it harder and harder. In fact, last week I just did a week-long training on LinkedIn basics, and I really highlighted how we're doing things differently now than I did 6 months ago in order to continue to get the same growth that I got 6 months ago because of how the algorithms are changing.
Can you give me an example? I'm super curious about that.
Yes. Well, the main one that impacted me is that they've put limits on the amount of connections that you can request if you don't have the paid version, and it never used to be quite so restrictive. And I don't ever like to just send out a connection request. I always do it with a note, and they put even more limitations on that. And so I've had to switch from me reaching out and growing my network to me having a strategy of attraction, because I can get an unlimited number of connections if people are asking me.
Yeah.
So it's just a whole little different tweaking of what I've been doing in order to keep the connections coming to me so I don't have to go to that paid version.
Yeah. I think it's a mix of both, right? I still think that you need to have an outbound strategy and not be dependent on people coming to you. But I also believe that, if you have magnetic messaging and you really understand, who your buyer is and really stand in your power of your offer and what you have to offer, that your messaging becomes super, super important, because then that's what attracts people into you.
And a part of my strategy involves actually writing down names of like who I think my ideal next business partners are going to be or clients are going to be. And then I work on the strategy and attracting only those people, if that makes sense. Because if you're wanting hundreds of people to come flooding to your inbox, not going to be very successful. They have to be the right people that I'm really trying to attract. And that's what my strategy hones in on. It's not a numbers game. It's a quality game. Quality of the people.
Yeah. I mean, I love that. I love that. Look, we all want good, great quality clients, right? It makes life so much easier when you're speaking to the person that, you really want to attract in. How long, I mean, you've been doing this a really, really long time. What do you think most entrepreneurs struggle with when they're making a pivot, whether that's to their audience, to their offer? What do you feel is their biggest?
Well, I think it depends on who is pivoting. If it's somebody that's already successful on another platform, specifically on Instagram, I think that they struggle because they want to come over with their catchy reels and all the hashtags and still make a go of it on LinkedIn. And it doesn't quite work like that. And then they get frustrated. So that can be challenging for someone who's already seen success on another platform, thinks it'll be no big deal to switch because LinkedIn will do anything in its power to keep a reel from going viral, unlike your goals on Instagram. So that's one major hurdle. Another one is if you're taking somebody who's been working in corporate and not used to being online on any social media, and then they're transitioning to an online business, sometimes they struggle with finding their voice online, maybe feeling like they're not enough, or feeling like they're not perfected enough to really go live on LinkedIn, even though they've been successful in their leadership and in their careers for so many years. Sometimes when you switch to an online platform, you struggle with that confidence, your main messaging, and finding that voice that you need for authority.
That was 100% me when I started. It's so interesting because despite the fact that I don't even know how many, I delivered thousands of webinars. I'm not even exaggerating. Like every day of my life, I was delivering some sort of training online. But it's so different when, I don't know, when you're doing it with only your name behind it. So different. It feels different. Like you have to work on your identity. It was a lot.
I also find that a lot of people come to LinkedIn thinking that you should always be this polished, professional, words of wisdom pouring out of your mouth at all times, or you don't show up. And a big part of the training is teaching people to be their authentic self. I am doing this interview with you without any makeup on at all today. And it's because I'm headed to the gym when we're done. So I didn't want to waste my time. And I'm okay with this.
Yeah.
You don't have to be polished. You don't have to be perfect. You have to be yourself, because I know realtors tend to get on there and post beautiful homes, and they're always dressed up and they always look nice and they're always posting their successes. Well, that's great, but it really doesn't cause people to connect with them. As soon as they start talking about the difficulties of the interest rates going up and how they haven't sold a house in 2 months and they're more authentic, then other people are gravitating towards that. But you have to do it in a way that is still confidence building. So you need to relate to the person without pretending to be more successful than you are, and yet really approach things at an authentic level. And so there's multiple different ways to do that on LinkedIn. Through the DMs and getting to know people is sometimes easier than how we post. And so we have a strategy that I teach my team on how to start, and then what your final goal is on your how you show up on the platform.
It's so interesting because my clients always say to me, or not necessarily my clients, but when I'm, presenting to somebody, they'll say to me, how do you start a conversation with someone from LinkedIn? Like a complete stranger. And that's what I say. I always say, be a human. What would you say to someone who was in front of you? It's really no different. Like sometimes people will say hello back and sometimes they won't. And, you know, I think the work is in becoming okay with it either way.
I always teach people to act like you're walking into one of those lunch and networking meetings. You've got your business card in your hand, right? So you're immediately shaking hands, exchanging names, what your company is or whatever. That's all okay, but you don't usually get into the really deep conversations until you actually sit next to them at lunch. You can meet a lot of people, but it's the sitting next to them where you really take it to the next level. LinkedIn is no different. Your platform is like your business cards, walking in, introducing, this is who I am and what I do. But taking it to the DMs or a private Zoom is like sitting next to them at lunch. And the sooner you can sit next to them at lunch, the quicker your relationships are going to grow in an authentic way.
Yeah.
If you're in the coaching business like you are, Lisa, and you already know this, people are not going to work with you if they don't know you, like you, and trust you. And the way that they're going to do that is through the authentic relationships.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. I mean, I remember when I first started coaching, oh my gosh, I feel like I talk about this all the time, but I had a coach who made a lot of money, but didn't necessarily build a personal brand. And I was all about building a personal brand and relationships. And I just remember him saying, people don't care about you. They care about, you know, how you can solve their problem. And I think that is, I do believe that people care about how you can solve their problem, right? And if you can describe their problem better than they can, then that does build trust. But I also believe that they do want to spend their money with people they like. You know, I mean, I do. I want to spend my money with people I like. The very first time you and I chatted, I think we connected because I wanted to join this LinkedIn program, and you and I talked like, I don't know, like women, just talking about life and our business and our families, and it was amazing. I mean, I remember, I don't even know if we actually talked about the program I wanted to join too much, but I knew after I finished talking to you that I wanted to do that. So
well, that's because I've always been fairly good at sales, but I don't ever approach anything trying to sell, because my goal is to solve your problem, like you just said.
Yeah.
And so you needed to know more about the program. You're not going to really fully get it if I'm trying to sell you something.
Right.
So it's all about connecting with somebody, and then also not being tied to the outcome.
Yeah. Yeah. How do you, now I'm curious about this. How do you strike a balance between not being tied to the outcome and making money? Because sometimes I find people get so detached from the outcome that they forget we're here to make money.
That is such a great question. I believe being detached from the outcome happens when you're truly living out of a body of, or a mindset of service. If I am truly offering something to you because I think it will help you X, Y, and Z, and you are sensing that I'm truly just offering it, being tied to the outcome means that it's my responsibility to offer it. It's her responsibility, whatever she does with it. So I remove any like, oh, I must not have done something right if they said no. I just need to go on and offer it to the next and the next and the next, really doing something out of an obligation that you need to get this information out there because people need these services. It's going to change their life, you know, that kind of thing. Now, I also believe that when you're doing the right thing with the right people for the right purpose, the money will come.
Yeah.
So I don't focus on the money. I focus on being authentic and really listening and caring about where people are at in their life journey. And then if it's not me, I can hook them up with people like you, people like other people I've developed relationships with. I'm just all about connections and networking, and then the money comes. But when you focus on the money, sometimes you feel like you're beating your head against the wall and you're not doing what you're doing wrong.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I love that answer so much. And I couldn't agree more. I mean, I remember when I started my journey, because I came from corporate, I was all about the money. I was like, let me just get a strategy, get a business, understand some sort of model that converts to sales.
Mhm.
And then I was really attached to the money. But then I ran into price objections because I had a high ticket offer and I still didn't have the belief in myself and in my product. You know, it's a big journey to get from working in corporate to working for yourself and selling a service. And so then I started to believe all this nonsense that it wasn't worth it. And, you know, I went through all of that scarcity mindset. And then I found myself, it's almost like I reverted back to a very, very non-confident version of myself. And it took a really long time to get to a place where it was the happy medium, right? It was not medium's actually a terrible language, but to get to a place where I felt confident and I knew that what I was offering really was the answer to, you know, to my clients' problems and not be attached to the outcome. But
Well, Lisa, when you were really, really successful in what you did before your pivot, and so it's very hard to start over and not have that same level of confidence in a new space. I see it all the time. People that were so successful in corporate, they struggle when they come here. It's a normal process. And that's where people like you are so invaluable because you've walked it. You know how to speed up the process to go from overly confident what you were doing to feeling like you're not good enough over here. You will run that course that we all go through in a much more streamlined way without as many dips when you get help right from the beginning, getting to where you need to go. So many people think, oh, I'm good. I can do this on my own. I've been doing this 40 years. I can certainly pivot. It's a whole new world when you're doing it online.
It really is.
Being willing to spend whatever resources it's going to take, time, energy, money to learn to do it from someone who's already been there is invaluable.
I could not agree more. And thank you for saying that. I mean, it was so hard when I started, and it was because it's almost because I was super confident, but then I ditched. It's like I ditched everything I knew because, like you said, it's a whole new world. But the big mistake I made was not leveraging the experience I had, right? I wasn't starting over, was starting from experience, but I wasn't acknowledging that, which is why I'm so adamant about, you know, my clients really being aligned to who they are and their values and how they see their life moving forward. But let's take that 30 years of experience you have and leverage that into something that can be of service to others, because that's what you're going to feel good about.
Absolutely.
Because that's one of the main reasons everybody wants to leave is because they want legacy, they want to feel good, and they want to still make an income. So for you, you said you're in a pivot, moving out of state, moving towards your dreams. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I'm on ski patrol, always been a big skier, but the last 14 years on patrol, I always go to the same resort and I always work very, very long 14-hour days. By the time you drive up there, get there at 7:30, you know, and then you can't leave till the last person's found. So sometimes it's 6 o'clock at night before you're even leaving to drive back down the mountain. Well, we're moving up in the Carson Valley, which is right near Tahoe, Reno area. There'll be 9 ski resorts within an hour and a half of where we're going. And I've already checked out all the women's networking groups in the area. It's going to be a little bit cleaner air than what I'm used to here in the Valley in California. It's going to be a little bit cooler summers, get snow in the winter, but it's a very dry, cold. And it's just something, lots of active adults are going there in this area, paddle boarding, 4-wheel driving. There's, you know, skiing, fishing, gold penning. There's waterways everywhere. We're excited. We've been in this house for 23 3 years, and we're very grateful. It's been a great place to raise kids, great school district, but there's nothing holding us here anymore. So we're just moving on to our next adventure. And we do have family in the area. Both my husband and I have family in the area. So we're moving closer to some family.
I love that. My Canadian heart loves everything you just said.
Mm-hmm.
We love the outdoors. We love the outdoors here. You talk about earning money, and you've talked a lot about pivots. What would you say to someone who's poured months or maybe even years into their business and they're still not seeing the income that they hoped for?
Well, it depends on what type of business. If it's like a service-based business, a coaching business, a copywriting business, something like that, I highly recommend a coaching program that just really helps you. Things are changing so quickly day by day because honestly of what AI can do for you and the automations and the funnels. And many of us are not used to working in that world. And we think of AI as maybe just rewriting a post or something. AI can be your virtual assistant.
Yeah.
There are people that are not needing to pay somebody anymore because everything is automated, that if then do that. And if this, then do that. And it's just getting easier and easier and easier to do. However, when we're not making the money in the first place, then we struggle to be able to hire somebody to help us get to that next level. It's like this never ending circle. That's actually why I'm on LinkedIn, because with my own personal business, because I have found that people need the extra income coming in to help them take the course, to hire the coach, to do the website. It would be so helpful to have an extra $1,000 a month that takes the pressure off, because we all know financial pressure is a real thing. And not only does it attack your health, especially if you're living in a relationship where maybe your spouse isn't fully on board with you taking your business online yet. Sometimes they're a little bit more hesitant than you are. And then you jump in and now it's been 6 months and you haven't earned a lot of money. So now there's starting to be doubt that creeps in. There's a lot of factors that come into this. And so I think figuring out what it is that we need. Sometimes it's only mindset work. And sometimes it's a coach. Sometimes it's a full system, buying into a system. Sometimes it's just meeting the right person that will put you in the right realm of other people online, that all of a sudden your eyes are opened and you're growing. So I cannot talk highly enough about putting yourself in the right rooms. And I don't mean physically in the room. It could be Facebook group, it could be an online coaching, it could be a mastermind, but finding other people. Let's say digital marketing is a big thing. Let's say you're new in digital marketing, you've been struggling for 6 months. Find some other people that are really successful in digital marketing and then have them mentor you. Join, do what they do, and just really put yourself in the right position to learn. I do believe a lot of really successful successful corporate people, when they pivot to entrepreneurship, they don't even realize it, but their ego gets in the way. They don't even understand that.
Yeah.
They think, well, I'm so good at this. Why is this not working? And we haven't admitted yet that, well, maybe I really don't know how to do it in this setting.
You just spoke words into my heart. I could not agree more. I think that our ego does get in the way. As someone who came from corporate, I thought that I would start an online business. And as long as I had the right strategy, I would just make $1 million out of the gate. Like, I did not have a confidence problem. I didn't think it was going to be challenging at all. But the truth is, I was so disconnected from myself that when it came time to... So the one thing I did right is I joined a coaching program. I was in community with other coaches, all of the things. And I am proud of myself for doing that, investing in myself and my business. But I invested in my business, not thinking it was investing in myself. Right. And so I skipped all the mindset work. I didn't do any of that because I thought it was nonsense.
But you were there.
I was like, I'm fine. And I remember even listening to this one coach. I tell this story all the time because it was so... you know, when things happen to you and you just, it really stays with you. Like she was so in her heart, Laurel. I mean, she was talking about a client and getting on a discovery call and how she just, you know, meditated for a minute before she got on the call, and she dropped into her heart and she didn't have to follow a script, and she just enrolled her into her 8K program. And I remember listening to her thinking, what is she talking about? I mean, I loved it. It was beautiful, but I was so disconnected from whatever she was experiencing that I really felt like it was the first time I felt like I needed to do some work, but I had no idea where to start. None.
There is so much to that right mindset piece. In fact, right now I'm in a university doing training. I'm teaching myself how to be a trader, a day trader with futures,
exciting
stocks. And, you know, I'm going into retirement. I got time. I want to do this. I'm so excited, and not doing it as a business. This is for our family's, you know, benefit. Anyways, they talk about the mindset, and it is no different than all the training that I have been through and put my own team through here on LinkedIn. If you're not feeling positive, encouraging, like things are going to go well, I can't wait to get in there, place this train, get up, then just don't go in there today. Because even something like the stock market and whether or not your trade goes in your direction is dependent on your mindset. And to me, I would have argued that to the 10th degree 10 years ago. There is no way that my mindset can affect a trade on the stock market. Oh, it so can. And there's so much science behind that. And so right now I'm listening to this mindset book around trading, and it's the same things I've been listening to for 10 years about myself. And I just find it fascinating that your mindset is everything.
I cannot agree more. Like, yeah. And your energy is everything. When you are, I don't know, like if you're in a different energy, you see things differently, you show up differently, you interpret things differently. It's everything. And like you, if somebody would have told me, not even 10 years ago, 5 years ago, that I'd be live streaming something to LinkedIn and talking about mindset and energy and how that is everything and changes everything, I would have been like, send me the drugs now. Like there's something wrong with her.
No, I completely agree. And that's why I have some friends who have said, all right, I love the journey. I've been watching you. Where do I start? And I just always tell people that I don't remember who the author of the quote is, but when the student is ready, the teacher will show up. Just recognizing that you're open to some personal development, recognizing that you're open to growing your mindset, and just stay open and start talking to people, watching things like this. The right path is going to start to unveil itself for you. Always does. When you don't know you need it, you're not going to come upon it. But when all of a sudden you're like, I didn't realize that, you know, I should pray before I get on an interview, or I should get on a meditation, or I should spend quiet time, or, you know, I need to work. I feel like energy comes from being in alignment.
Yeah.
And when you're feeling out of alignment, it's because something's wrong. You're stressed, something's gone wrong. And you need to take control of that before you keep moving on. And that's where many of us get in the old survival mode of life, because you're feeling the stress, you're feeling the pain, you're exhausted, you've got all these life happening, and you're not fixing yourself in between day to day, and you get stuck on the hamster wheel of survival. And then you're definitely in a survival mindset, not a growth mindset.
Yeah.
And so when you can just learn ways to reset your nervous system, it doesn't mean your life is better. It means how you respond to your life is better. And that helps you feel in alignment.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I completely agree. When I first started my business, I built a business I hated. Like I was so out of alignment and I had no idea. And it's like I traded one hell for another. Because I felt like, okay, I was in corporate. I loved my job until I didn't. And when I didn't, I didn't. I was like, I'm done because it wasn't in alignment anymore. That I knew. And then I started a business and I followed a business model that worked for a lot of, like, it was a successful business model, but I hated it. And then I found myself like just spending the whole day doing things that I hated. And when I realized, like when I took the time to really look inward and ask what is going on, that's when the whole like that's when it's like a light bulb went off. Like I finally got it. Like, oh, I'm out of alignment, of course, because my values, I'm not in alignment with my values, which is why I talk about that all the time now. I mean, it's such an easy, I don't want to use the word mistake, but it's such an easy trap to get into. Ugh. All right. Well, what's next for you, Miss Laurel?
Well, I'm just planning to continue helping people build their. One thing that I wanted to mention about this platform, which is so amazing, is the way it can be an umbrella for you to be multi-passionate about a lot of things. And so many of us, as we get older in life, we have passion projects. We like to give back. You know, for us, it's adoptions and orphanages and, you know, working with kids from difficult places. There's, you know, Melaleuca business, my LinkedIn training, all these different parts that make us up. And on LinkedIn, it's not just about the business. And so when you have a personal branding, you are able to bring in and talk about the things that really light you up, as long as you have a content strategy and your pillars are a strong foundation and you have a plan for sticking to them. It all comes across beautifully in your branding and is not confusing to the viewers. And I never thought, like on Facebook, it's all about what trip did you go on? What award did your kid get? Did they win at the soccer game? And I liked that, but that wasn't my business. And when I tried to grow my business on Facebook, I started losing followers right and left because your friends and family don't want to hear about that. When I went to Instagram was all about staying focused on the business. Then it felt odd to talk about the soccer game or whatever. And I have found that perfect balance on LinkedIn, because I never talk about the soccer game just for the fact they won, but I'll talk about the soccer game that I'm running my business, just took a call and made $400 on the sidelines of a soccer game. So, you know, tying in life to business works so well. And you can bring in everything that makes you that well-rounded, multi-passionate person. You don't have to be so tunnel visioned on just one thing. And those are the people that are most successful on LinkedIn.
I love it. I love it. I completely agree. I love the platform. I felt the same way. That's so interesting that you said that about Facebook. That's how I felt as well about Facebook. Trying to build my business on Facebook just felt weird. Like my friends don't care. And I don't want to talk about it with them because they're not they're my people, but they're not my people.
They're not in the right mindset.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when people come to LinkedIn, they're in the right mindset for business.
Yeah. And you can just talk about whatever you want to talk about and your people will find you, and you won't be for everybody, and it's okay because you don't want to be. I love it.
Yes.
I love it. Well, we're coming up on our time now, Laurel. Yes. I want to thank you so much for hanging out today and for sharing your story and your energy and your wisdom with us. How can people find you if they want to connect with you?
The absolute best way to connect with me is on LinkedIn. And I mean, you can just click my name from this post. And I also have a scheduling link. I do free 20 to 30 minute connection calls. If there's some energy that feels aligned that you just want to talk about or get some advice on, or, you know, you want to just talk, I'm happy to do that one time for free. I haven't gotten to the point yet. I know some people get too bombarded with the free and then they have to up their ante. We're not there yet. So I'm still talking to people. You can click that. And that's probably the best way to find me. Though I do keep just my name as my identifier on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, you name it. I'm Laurel Boylan across the board. So I'm not hard to find.
I love it. I love it. And my last question, and then I'm going to ask you a couple of rapid fire questions just because they're fun. Is there any question that you wish I would have asked you that we didn't have a chance to chat about today?
Not really, other than I just would like to focus again on investing in yourself earlier in the process rather than waiting till you get to a point of complete frustration when you're trying to pivot to online. Just, I know that money's sometimes tight, but if you think creatively, you can find a way to get the money to pay for what you need to get your goal quicker. I mean, you will find a way.
Yeah.
I have a friend here on LinkedIn who always says broke people go to Disneyland every day. Broke people go to Disneyland, right? If there's two of you, that's a $400 day right there. And yet there's people go, oh, I can't afford this program. I can't afford a coach. Well, no, it's because it's not your priority right now.
Yeah.
You can be creative.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, a few rapid fire questions just because I think they're fun. Morning or night person?
Morning, AM, baby.
Love it. Dream vacation destination?
Oh, Bali.
Ooh, I want to go there too. And one word to describe your journey.
Adventurous.
Ooh, I love it. I love it. Thank you so much, Laurel. It's been an absolute pleasure chatting with you today. And I know that my community is going to love this conversation. Wishing you all a great day and a happy Monday. We'll see you all next week, same time, not the same time. We changed the time today at noon Eastern. I'll see you next Monday. Bye for now.
Bye. Thank you, Lisa.